over a month. It's a bit disconcerting. We're going to talk about it tonight. Most of the problems were in transition, and the Jazz fall for the 6th time in their last 9 games, I think. I can't really keep track, but this one was not good, and it wasn't good early. We're talking about it coming up on POSTCAST. POSTCAST is brought to you by Biograss, the Big Yellow Bag. Go to thebigyellowbag.com. Make sure you put in the promo code Locked On and get your green grass rolling as a 60-degree Salt Lake day. And Biograss is here for you, a Utah company through and through, here to help you out. Biograss.com. All right, Jazz fall tonight. The chat room is open for you. We are live on POSTCAST on Periscope at DLock09. We're also live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitch at Locked On Live. So feel free to jump aboard. The defense is the story tonight, or the lack thereof. The Jazz put together another poor defensive outing. This has been reoccurring since the Philadelphia game over a month ago. The Jazz good defensive games have been against the Lakers without Dennis Schroeder and Anthony Davis, Houston with a G League roster, a half-decent performance, a pretty good performance against Charlotte and Orlando. But otherwise, the Jazz defense has been really, really poor for an extended period of time right now. They're getting driven. They're bad. They're not good in transition. They're 17th in the league in transition defense. Tonight, they allowed 1.8 points per transition opportunity. Russell Westbrook was running down their throats. They didn't build the wall defensively. They couldn't keep him in the half court. The Jazz are the number 1 half court defense in the NBA. That wasn't great tonight, but Bradley Beal is a unique talent that can hit the mid-range 2-point shot, and that's hard for us to deal with. So you didn't expect to have a great defensive game in that regard, but we just did not have a good game in any way, shape, or form in defensively tonight, and that's the issue. And this is a reoccurring theme that's going on with this team defensively right now. They're not guarding their yard. They're not holding guys holding their defensive responsibilities. And frankly, tonight, I said to Ron in the first time out, they look like they're trying to find an easy way to win this game. They didn't run either way this year tonight. I don't like the fast break stat. It's not perfect, but it's telling when it's 0. And it was 0 for almost the entire game. The Jazz ended up with 1 fast break basket the entire night, a Royce O'Neal corner 3. That number's not great. It's not flawless. We'll look at shot clock stuff and some better numbers on that. But the fact of the matter is, it's telling that we were doing that little running, and we weren't running back at all defensively. Multiple times you saw Washington. That's the problematic aspect of what we're seeing here. Ron Boone pointed this out on the postgame show, when we've won recently, our offense has been elite, like out of this world elite for us to win ball games. You've got to get back to the point where you're a good enough team that you can win either way. Right now, when we were great, we could win either way. We'd win in different fashions. Right now, we can only win if we have an unbelievable offensive night. We had a very good offensive night against Boston. We had a brilliant offense game against Charlotte. First matchup against Philadelphia without Joel Embiid, when Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris were busting us. We had a huge offensive game. Those were our best offensive games of the year, and we're not having them right now. Joe Ingles, 33 points tonight. 33 points tonight's a great story. He had 8 threes, a new career high. Donovan has 43, and obviously a part of the story tonight, Bojan Bogdanovic, Jordan Clarkson, and George Niang combined tonight. Bojan finishes 2 of 12, Clarkson 2 of 11, and George Niang 1 of 7. The complementary pieces to what was the Joe Ingles, Donovan Mitchell show tonight did not help in any way. Bojan 0 of 6 from 3. Jordan Clarkson 1 of 8. George Niang 1 of 4. Those guys combined to go 2 of 18 from 3. They combined to go 5 of 36 from the field. You got to get a little bit more out of that from your supporting cast tonight in that regard for the Jazz. The other aspect of things for Utah tonight, which did not go well, is Washington's the number 1 team in the league at stopping you from getting to the rim, and the Jazz didn't get to the rim at all. Last check I had on that on the ball game, the Jazz, I think, had 9 shots at the rim the entire night. The final number, I think, might be a notch higher by the end, but I believe, were 5 of 9 from the rim while the game was still in doubt. So Really a poor performance all the way around by the Utah Jazz tonight. Maybe the worst of the year. Effortless early. Never then were able to regain control of the game, and problematic. All right. That is my thoughts, quite honest thoughts to be there for you. We'll get you your thoughts here coming up. We are live on all those different formats with Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. Let's go to Michael, who joins us via Periscope, I believe. More concerning trend, double-digit first quarter defense or bogeys regression? First quarter problems are real to me. The offense, I believe, I looked it up during the game. In 7 of the last 9 games, the Jazz first quarter offense has been below 1 point of possession. I mean, that's really bad. Like, below 1 point of possession is worst in the NBA. Bad. So as much as we're talking about how bad the defense is, there's a worthwhile discussion here about the fact that, Ron always points out that offense leads to good defense. We're the number 1 half-court defense in the league, and we're getting back. We're set defensively. We're the best there is, but we're not getting set defensively because our offense to open games has been awful. Here's our offensive rating in the first quarters of our last 7 games. 85 against Orlando, 96 against New Orleans, good offensive games against Philadelphia and Houston, an 89 against Golden State, an 80 against Boston, and tonight our offensive rating was a 77. So not only are we below 100, we're below 90 in 3 of our last 7 games offensively. 4 of our last 7 below 90. 5 of our last 7 below 100, and we were an 89 against the Clippers when they had their full unit as well. That's a great question, Michael, because that's as big an issue of everything else. Jose, what happened? I don't know. I think, we watched. The one thing I would say that if you've listened to our radio broadcast all year, and we have to check with Ron and see whether he agrees with me on this, if what everyone's guarding us the same way. We kept watching people try different ways to defend us, and then it became clear that there was really only one way to defend us. And the only way to defend us is to drop the big, hug the shooters, and make the ball handlers score. Make Joe Ingles score 33, make Donovan Mitchell score 42, and not give away the open threes by overly rotating. Boston didn't change their defensive system. We had a better night. We saw tonight that they hugged the shooters a little bit. There weren't that same, and Tim Lacombe pointed out on our postgame show, he thinks that's the fewest amount of passes he's seen all year long. On YouTube, RRR says we peaked too early. Crom 80X says that game was a huge bummer off YouTube. Off Twitch, Nathan says so sad. Jason, fun group. Jason says, I love to say this was just them being hot and us being not, but we were just lazy. Road trip struggles. It's a unique world right now in the sense that the COVID and all that, we had 2 days off. We shouldn't have been tired. So but I don't know what it's like to be on the road this year. So I can't really comment about like road trip struggles, but I will say that it was an effortless performance. I think that's a fair comment. Rudy needs more minutes. I don't know if Rudy can play more minutes, but we've got to get better when Rudy's off the floor. Even tonight, we're getting torched. Rudy was only -4 for that ball for the game tonight. Like Faves again tonight in 14 minutes is -7 in a game that's a lot in 14 minutes, right? In a full game, that's -24. So it's hard. The second half of the season has been so frustrating. Fair enough. Adam says, when Utah can't even beat a Wizards team, it's time for the Jazz brass to realize this team has problems and that need to be fixed now with either a trade or a free agent, but they need something. Adam, I got bad news for you. We have very few tradable contracts. Unless you're going to trade Royce O'Neal, Bojan Bogdanovic, Joe Ingles, or Jordan Clarkson, we have almost no tradable contracts on this roster. So unless you're willing to move one of those guys and you have a piece that's going to change this team with one of those guys, then that's hard. But I don't know what that answer is. I don't know how much this stretch is going to concern the front office. You're always better off deciding the first 20 games are always a better indicator, but we have not been good defensively for a month, and that's got to be a little concerning. This is the fall we are all warned about, says Jose. Matt on, don't know what format. Matt on, I don't know. We'll tell you in a second. Periscope. Wizards torch us with only 16 3 attempts. Pelican torch us with only 11 threes. What's the deal? Well, we're the number one team at denying threes, so people know we're going to close out on threes, so maybe they're pulling into twos, and I don't know how much they got to the rim tonight. The final number looks to be that they took 17 shots at the rim, so, I mean, they took 52 non-restricted area twos tonight. I'm not sure I've ever seen that. 28 of 52. Bradley Beal, we talked about on Locked On Jazz today, has become an elite player by being an elite three-point shooter. It's about how we respond to the slump. Go Jazz. Still a wing defender would help. Yeah, there aren't a lot of wing defenders that are around that can also shoot. So you have to decide you're going to go get one who's not shooting. Our defense is dependent on making shots, and Donovan looked gassed at the end. Donovan gave everything he got. He ended up with 43. It was quite an impressive performance. Final thing, why on earth were Donovan and Bogey going to play? When on earth are Donovan and Bogey going to play defense? Donovan has been equally as bad or worse than Bogey defensively, says Tyler. All right. Not sure. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what Tyler says. That's Locked On Jazz, a frustrating loss to the Wizards and a frustrated fan base on POSTCAST today. Have a good one. Talk to you tomorrow after the Jazz play the Raptors, who I think have lost like 6 in a row, and the Wizards have lost 5 in a row. We got to stop playing these teams on long losing streaks. Have a